The common denominator in all of my outdoor adventures for the last several years comes down to one thing, one camera. It's the Insta360. This happens to be the X4. Previously I used the X2, and I've also used this X3. The X4 is by far, and makes sense, the most advanced of these cameras, and it is my favorite, mostly because of all of the increased capabilities we have. 8K 30 out of the sensor and processor that makes it so awesome. This video is sponsored by Insta360. They sent me some gear to review to put this in different modes, actually to enhance modes that I was already doing. So in this video, we're gonna do 4 things. We're gonna first of all talk about essential and non-essential yet awesome accessories that you're gonna need to get the most out of this camera. I'm then gonna show you a couple of sample shots in outdoor mode, hiking both on the trail and on city streets, because that's the focus of this video. That's why this video is on the JB Outside channel. The follow-on videos where I go into more extreme modes with the Insta360 X4 are going to be on my other channel, JB on Tech. But this one's on JB Outside because this is what I use outside. This is what I used when I was climbing in Washington State last month. This is what I've used on just really any other time because of the versatility of this camera. So anyway, we're going to show you some of those modes that I use in hiking mode. Then we're going to talk about some editing basics. And then we're going to give you a little preview on more extreme ways you can use this camera and some of the accessories that I would recommend you picking up if you're going to do those. So anyway, let's get to it. All right, so congratulations. Did you buy an X4? Are you going to buy an X4? Here are the 4 accessories that you need to get. These are essential. I would think you really can't do much without these. In fact, one of them you can't do anything without. So the first one is a good memory card. This thing will take up to a 1 terabyte. You know, it's a V30 version of the card, but anyway, you're gonna want something fast and reliable to get the most out of the camera's processing speed of the amount of data that's gonna put into that memory card. So I traditionally carry a little bit larger one in this compared to, say, some of my other action cameras, just because of all the data that it's collecting. It's, you know, 8K full sphere from both of the sensors. So anyway, get a bigger memory card for this than maybe you would on other cameras. So memory card is number 1. Number 2 is an extra battery. The battery life on this thing is pretty good. And the way that I use this typically is I just use it in quick capture mode where I hit the button, it records, and I turn it off. So that is gonna save battery because you're not running around with it in full mode all the time. I usually just hit short clips with this thing and it works really, really well. It'll last all day, probably multiple days, depending on how much you use it. But you're gonna need a backup source. And so I highly recommend picking up a spare battery just to put in your pocket, keep in your backpack so that if you needed it, you have it. So highly recommend on that one. I consider it essential. Next thing is a lens cap. This does not come with it. This is an additional accessory. Unfortunately, you have to buy this, but it is, and it lives on the camera. In fact, this mode, with the last accessory, number 4, which is this selfie stick. This is how this thing lives. In my side of my bag, in my back pocket. In fact, when I was hiking in Washington State, this thing just lived in the side pocket. I could either reach it, get it out, or someone could hand it to me and I could use the camera and put it back. So lens cap and invisible selfie stick. This is a newer edition. The one that I got with the X2 is a little more flexy. This one is a little more rigid and lightweight. It's a different material. Highly recommend this one over the older ones. If you have an older one, maybe upgrade, because you don't want any flex in this camera, a selfie stick. If it is gonna flex, then part of this is less invisible, more visible, because that's the camera's gonna pick up the end of it as the selfie stick flexes. So just pick up a new one if you've got an older one. Highly recommend. So here we are, the essentials: memory card inside, lens cap, selfie stick, spare battery. Those are the essentials. What are the non-essential ones? The first thing I would add, if you're going to go outdoors with this, carry a backpack, maybe you want to put it on a belt, but this is the backpack attachment clip, and it comes with this little tiny nugget here that goes on the end and between the end of the invisible selfie stick and your camera. It's got a magnet on it and a little release mechanism, which makes this thing fantastic. So little magnets goes in there, boom. Now it's 100% secured, not gonna fall off. The way you get this off is you just twist, ta-da! Now we're filming, we're live, and then when we're done, we put this thing back into place. I would actually probably rotate this thing around, so it's forward, because now it gives you another hands-free way to go 360, whip off the cap, hit record. Now you're recording everything as you go up and down little hills, and then you can further enhance it by pulling it off the clip really easily or putting it back, you name it. This thing is completely versatile, and it's honestly gonna go on my backpack of choice of whenever I'm gonna be outside now, because it just allows you to go hands-free, use trekking poles, that kind of thing. And you can additionally rotate this thing, not that you would rotate it on your backpack, but you could put this on your belt the way it attaches. So either way, highly recommend. It attaches just like any other sort of camera clip that you put on your backpack straps. That's non-essential, but really cool accessory number one. Number two and number three, because they're both kind of awesome. And if you're gonna use this thing outdoors, in national parks, state parks, somewhere where there's no drones allowed and you're kind of bummed, well, get yourself one of the extended selfie sticks. This thing goes out to 3 meters, 9 feet, and just allows you to really advance your angle or height of where you're putting the 360 camera. So I use this in places where you couldn't launch a drone, but you wanted to get some really cool shots. Like Hawksbill Crag in Arkansas when I was hiking, used the extended edition selfie stick. Highly recommend that one as a non-essential, but really cool accessory. The other thing you want to check out is the GPS preview remote. This is indispensable in any situation where you want to embed GPS data to get GPS overlays on the Insta360 X4 footage and some of the other Insta360 cameras. This is really cool because if you put the camera on the extended edition, or if you have it mounted somewhere where you can't reach it, you'll be able to control the camera. Additionally, when you're controlling the camera, you can actually get a little preview on the screen of what you're looking at. And you can move it around because it's a touch screen. So GPS preview remote comes with 2 different straps. One you can wear on your wrist. This one is good for handlebars, both motorcycle, cycling on mountain bikes or road cycling. And I just like to put it on this, keep it on this extended edition selfie stick, because it's also handy when you have the camera on the end of it to see what the actual view is. So there you go, 2 and 3. Number 4 is this quick reader from Insta360. Now, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself on the uses of the camera, but to extract the footage or to start editing quickly, I will sometimes just use the app on my smartphone, it's my iPhone, and just use and edit it from the camera to the app, okay? That is a pretty good quick method. It can be a little bit laggy. There's a better way to do that. That is to remove the card out of the camera and put it into this quick reader, and then attach the quick reader to your phone. It's got a USB-C connection, and the latest updated edition with the firmware will allow you to use it with a USB-C port on the newest iPhones. Now you can just edit inside the app, the footage, and usually I'm doing quick edits out of my footage on this for more vertical content of your vertical video app of choice. But either way, I'm editing those quick video highlights on that and going that route. Again, I'm getting into accessories, not really use cases, more about how I edit in a little bit. The next accessory really depends on how you plan to use the camera. If you're gonna use it someplace where there's gonna be a lot of debris, or there's a chance of this thing falling on the ground, and you know, that's what happened. I put the X2 on a little remote control truck drove it around and it fell off, damaged the lens. So now my footage from Venice, if I wasn't careful of which end of the camera was facing which direction, I have a little annoying little spot in my view from where I hit. The only way to repair that camera is to send it off to Insta360 to replace. And it's not necessarily all that cheap. So the previous editions did not have a way to attach lenses. You could just, they had sticky lenses on there, but then you had to either pry them off or they were just on there till they fell off. The newest edition of the camera is super cool because it allows you to put different lens options, not lenses, but protective little lenses on top. These are just, you know, lens covers. And they make two. They make this one, which happens to be plastic, this one, which happens to be an upgraded tempered glass edition. If you're gonna get them, if you're gonna use them, say in mountain biking or any area where you're worried about debris hitting the lens, then I would just get the premium editions. You can, they screw on the front and then they unscrew off when you don't want them. So you can kind of decide when you have it. Me personally, in most of my outdoor travels, I just go all natural, no lens covers on there. That's just me. The premium ones are, I think, a higher quality. They give you less distortion, but for me, I just go without them typically, unless I'm going to potentially put it on like a mountain bike where it's going to get a lot of debris thrown at the lenses. So there you go. Lens covers, just go premium. Lens guards, just go premium if you're going to get them, in my recommendation. Last little accessory that I would recommend if you're going to do something where you're going to record audio into the camera. They are fantastic speakers, so if you're up close to the camera, it does record pretty nice audio. But if you're going to upgrade and get an external microphone, this is the DJI Mic 2, which records and also will Bluetooth connect to really any action camera that has that Bluetooth capability. The X4 includes that capability. So I don't like to put the accessories that allow you to put the Mic 1 or Mic 2 receiver on the camera. I just use this to beam right to it, or to be honest, most of the time I'm just recording separately in the DJI mic, recording audio out of this, and then choosing which audio source in post-production in my editing software. Any editing software is going to be able to sync up those tracks and help you or let you choose which one you'd like to listen to in your audio. So there you go. That's all of the non-essential yet awesome accessories that I would recommend. All right, topic number 2, here are some sample shots on how I use this camera. I'll use it on a ridge crossing over to give me an elevated position to show you just the scene around me. I'll use it on this ledge where I can show you under the ledge and around me and just give me a more of a, you know, an elevated viewpoint from where I'm at. In fact, the second one here, I use the extended edition selfie stick. Additionally, and then on this channel, I use it all the time when I'm trying to show what the backpack I have on looks like from different perspectives. So I will carry it out in front of me. Looks like I've just got a drone in front of me or a person with a camera in front of me. I'll use it behind me to show what the bag looks like as I'm hiking with it. I'll use it as a side view. I'll use it for shoes, you name it. Just gives me a very flexible viewpoint. The coolest thing about it is I choose the angle in post-production from a little tight shot to a wide angle, a, you know, globe look of whatever I'm trying to show. So it does give you that flexibility in post-production, but it does add that level of editing or time commitment into your workflow when you're working with the Insta360, any of the 360 cameras, to be honest. When I'm setting up those views, how do I use the camera? I'll be honest, I don't mess with any of the settings for the most part. I do tend to use just the vivid profile on any of my action cameras just because I want it to pop, whether I'm using vertical content or if I'm putting it into my YouTube videos. I just like the pop of color, so I use the vivid option. And then other than that, 8K 30 across the board. So there you go. 8K 30, if it is lower light and it tells me to step it down to 5.7K, I do that because it allows the camera some better flexibility in getting a better image. I just trust that camera recommendation. Additionally, the other feature that I'll use to get the still shots I'll do it one of two ways. The first way is I'll use snapshots while I'm editing, and I'll just grab those shots out of the video, which provides a very excellent image. The second thing I'll do is I will use the gesture modes, which is very awesome with this camera. I will use the gesture mode where I'll just use the peace sign. It'll take a photo, boom. That's how I've captured some of these awesome photos in different locations with the X4. Now let's talk about editing. And as I've already said, using a 360 camera adds an element to your workflow where you're gonna have to choose the viewpoint of the footage that you've recorded with the X4. And these are large files. If I'm taking quick snapshots, I will use the Insta360 app. I'm usually just looking for some vertical shots, not necessarily trying to splice an entire video together. In a future video, I am going to talk about the AI editing capabilities of the app, which just came out, and they are very helpful in choosing and splicing all together and putting it to music. All of the action camera apps are good. Some are better than others, but the AI features in the Insta360 app, I think, are better than the rest. Now, once you get home, I have edited with the phone, and there's some capabilities that I like with the phone that you can't necessarily use on the desktop. But if I'm putting something longer form together, I'm gonna do it on my computer, and I'm going to choose the viewpoint, track the subject, do various things. And that's the ability of the software on the desktop, is to choose the subject that you're going to be tracking, and it centers like my face, the backpack, whatever it is in the middle of the shot, versus just the other common mode that I use, which is I'll use the direction lock to just point the camera in one direction no matter which way I go, especially on the mountain bike as I'm curving through trails. I just want the viewpoint facing one direction. Those are the most common ways I use it, either tracking a subject or direction lock. But there's a whole range of possibilities with the 360 footage. That's a little bit about editing, more in a future video. If you want to know more, drop me a comment down below. Lastly, some additional ways to use the full capabilities of a 360 camera. Number one, motorcycle. And again, I'm gonna do a full run through features, setup, accessories, on what to do and how to set it up for your motorcycle. But this view for the motorcycle is just amazing, whether it's from the front, the back, the side of the motorcycle. It's fantastic. I'm a big fan of the chest mount as well, because it just shows you everything from your hand position, the front of the motorcycle and the road ahead. Just really cool chest mounted view is really one of my go-to and favorites. The other ones are cool, but long riding adventures, I'm gonna be on chest mode just because I don't want things kind of sticking out. But those are good for short shots, I would say, using just this selfie stick and the different modes, whether it's the U clamp or the regular motorcycle clamp for the motorcycle. The next options are cycling. And I got a whole nother cycling video planned because I'm waiting on one little piece to do the road cycling piece, but I've been using Insta360 cameras for a while on mountain biking just because I like the chest mount, put it on the chest mount and just ride through the trail, let it run all day, and then come back and look at the footage, and it's just fantastic. Just love that viewpoint. Pro tip is also to use the preview GPS remote, because if I have that with me and it's recording GPS data, it puts it on the footage, and then I can use overlays later to show the speed, location, all that stuff. It's just fantastic. Love that a ton. So those are some things to look forward in a future video that I'll put over on JB on Tech, where I'm going to be talking specifically about different use cases beyond just hiking. But here, on my outdoor channel, this is the camera that I take with me, hiking through the woods, highlighting a backpack, going on an epic hike, you name it. This thing just is by far the most useful camera. I take other ones with me occasionally, but if I have room for only one, it's definitely the X4 from Insta360, which is just fantastic. It's just, to me, the gold standard right now, and it's awesome. Love it. With that, we're gonna get outside. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, sign up for alerts. This channel's not going away. I've got a ton of outdoor gear, mostly awesome backpacks coming out very, very soon. Some I'm waiting for today, but they're coming and they're gonna be reviewed. It's gonna be awesome, so stick with me on this channel. If you want more content about cameras, follow me on JB on Tech, link down in the description. to go follow me over there. Yeah, I'm balancing 2 channels, but I have a plan. It's gonna be awesome. I have a lot of new things coming out. Phones, watches, cameras, you name it. We're gonna get all to it, so follow me on that channel as well. JB on Tech, JB Outside. See ya. Like this video, if you like this video,